Oh, yeah!
This is Liberty Prime with Space Floaters, and welcome back to Planet Coaster 2! And if y'all are enjoying this game, please let me know by leaving a like on this video. And the best way to make sure that Planet Coaster 2 stays on the channel is to subscribe, so that you don't miss out on anything. Now, in the last episode, I tried to add a restaurant to our park, but I think that all that I managed to add was a shell. There was no actual food, like, being served to customers. So let's try to figure it out a little bit better this time and see if we can make our guests full and happy. They're definitely not going to be dry, though. Okay, let's see if we can get around to that restaurant shell that we added, and it was somewhere in the newer area of the park. Where am I? Okay, yeah, here we go. Now, this is the restaurant shell in question, or all I can guess is that it's a restaurant shell, but nobody is going there. There don't seem to be any salesmen or anything like that. I think that I have missed some important step, but I don't think that edit building is necessarily going to do it for me. So how do I actually add anything to this? Alright, let's see if I can find anything in here that informs me something about that. It's not a shops. Well, I mean, maybe it is. Maybe that's why I'm missing it. But, this just isn't making a whole lot of sense. Okay, well, let's get out of this. It feels like there should be some different thing that I can do. No, I don't want to edit it. Or I tried to edit it, and that did nothing. Oh yes, they're having their pool passes refunded because they're not spending enough time in the pools. I thought we fixed that last episode, but I'm worried about the restaurant this time. I'm not worried about whatever that is. Let's see if there's any... There's got to be something we can do with this. Let's actually get the internet on the case and maybe get some AIs helping me with this. So y'all are going to have to excuse me for just a second while I go pop over and ask Grok and maybe ChatGPT what on earth I'm supposed to do with this thing, because something has got to budge. I don't think this is just supposed to be scenery. So I'll be right back.
A few moments later.
Well, I might have a couple of different things to try, and actually more than a couple, because one of them is just going to be, completely deleting this and starting over from scratch. Let's try one thing real quick while I'm thinking about it. Let's see if we can just generically search for restaurant in facilities. 'Cause maybe I started this off wrong. Okay, I'm going to pause because I'm just tired of all these other messages that I don't care about right now. Anyway, restaurant. Yeah, and we got this, and it's got this icon, which implies that it is associated with something different. I'm not really looking to make it custom. I'm just looking for the default one. But okay, well, that was kind of a fail. So let's try the other thing that I saw, let's try one other thing at least that I saw that I could do, which is to just sort of add counters. I haven't actually used counters in this before yet. It looks like one might be able to go there. Let's see if there's any other spots where we can stick counters. No, nothing over there. There might just be the one slot for a counter. Ooh, didn't know that we had little themed dumpsters. That's kind of cool. But anyway, it's also not what I'm after right now. Well, I guess I could just have the one counter here. I've seen some websites saying you can have up to 10 or something. I'm really not seeing how on earth that works. But maybe they might have been talking about Planet Coaster 1, which I didn't play that. I'm completely unfamiliar with it, so I don't know. Let's try to find counters. I would assume that those are within facilities, and I would assume that they're within shops. Maybe I do need to be going to the customs thing, though. Yeah, Alrighty, well, let's try creating a custom. Okay, let's search for counter. Alrighty, do we have anything that is labeled as food? I guess this is labeled as food, but I don't really want the... I'm not sure that this is what I'm looking for either. I don't want the sort of off-the-shelf ones. I want a restaurant type one. But you know what? I don't know. I guess this is as good as we can get at the moment. So let's just go for, well, honestly, let's go for stuff that I would actually want to eat. I like beef. I am a carnivore. So let's, wait, why have I forgotten how to do this? Okay. Well, now we're thinking that this just goes somewhere in here. Wait, let me see if I can get this browser out of the way. Okay, yeah, that does help. I guess that I am facing you the wrong way. Is this what I'm after? Or maybe I should be in editing the building? Actually, that sounds correct. If I'm right in thinking that this whole thing is basically just a shell, then maybe that's exactly what I need to do. So let's... Ooh, wait, this is different than what I saw before. Alright. So, apparently I need some power. Let's go to auto hire. We have 10 vacant tables. Alrighty, well this is progress. Apparently I just didn't click on the right thing before. I wonder if there's anything else that I can click on here. No, that's just the building. But this apparently is already a counter. Okay, well, how's about we just get some power over to this place and see if we can go from there. But frankly, I was hoping that I could put more into this one restaurant than just a single counter. Because it's taking up an awful lot of real estate, and I'm a little bit limited when it comes to real estate, and I'm going to get stuck on this tree, aren't I? Ooh, let me pass. It's just, I'm trying to get past it. It's not helping me out at all. So let's go over here. There we go. I tell y'all, folks, I think that cameras just are my worst experience with all of the games that I'm playing lately. I tried Lynn's Island again. Oh, that was a bit of a nightmare. The things that they did to that game, it used to be a wonderful game, and I'm not giving them up. I'm not giving up on them yet, but man, they got a whole lot of work to do to win me back. Anyway, we were going to do some electricity. Speaking of a whole lot of work, so let's try a little bit of that. I've lost track of where that is. It's not in this area. We're going for that kind of facility. Just, wait, what happened? Where did I, oh, okay, I'm still searching for counter. That explains that. We need some, how does this work again? I think I just need a distributor, don't I? And let's hide it somewhere, at least a little bit. We might have some nice... Didn't realize that was quite hanging over the edge so much, but I think I'm actually okay with that. Where's a good spot to hide a power distributor? We don't want the guests to be staring at it. Let's rotate a little bit. I could put it right by the dumpster, but I don't know if there's going to be room for that. So let's... okay. Let's just play around a bit. Can we put it right down here at the very border? Probably not. Yeah, that's not what I wanted out of my Zing experience. I wanted it to be a little bit better lined up. Let's see. Maybe I can sort of hide you back here. No, that's also just a little bit too close to the edge. Earth. Other assorted sound effects. Well, that kind of works. Let's see if we can get away with that. Oh, intersecting terrain. But you were the correct color there for several seconds. I can't seem to get you right back to that, though, can I? I'm kind of blocking things there. Okay, well, now, if I were to click it here, let's see if it'll let me. No, paths cannot cross. Yeah, streams cannot cross either, but that used to happen all the time. Okay, let's just kind of give up on hiding it as well as I was hoping to hide it. Let's see. And apparently I'm still in the... I'm not really convinced that I actually need this because it's sort of... I mean, apparently this one counts for something over here. I can't even... I think that that's another Power distributor? Am I just remembering wrong? That looks different. This should not be quite the puzzle that it's being. I don't want to add you to a scenery group. I just want to tuck you away somewhere. Let's just go with that. And now, can I tack you into someplace? Please let me select you. Okay, there we go. Something happened. Maybe that was enough to power this. I'm honestly not convinced, because it didn't really look any different, but there's this green dot here, so maybe? Let's see if you have electricity now. Oh, I'm in the wrong spot. I need to click on this little counter. It's only using 0 out of 5 power. That's not telling me that it doesn't have enough power, is it? Okay, so I'm just doing it wrong. Alright. Well, what if I were to just hit open and see what happens? Alright, now I'm using 5 out of 5, and we have Conrad Ban. Let's see if we actually get any customers. Let's see if we can not get stuck on that stupid tree. I think that we picked a very inactive part of the map to put this restaurant. Oh, also we're paused. Yeah, I should hit play, shouldn't I? Maybe we can get a few people interested. But did we ever get any actual interest in this ride? It is closed because the ride is untested. Okay. I did not remember that. I thought that I had tested it and everything. Let's test it. Maybe I made enough changes that whatever testing I did before just sort of expired. Oh yeah, I have some annoying music to go with it, don't I? Let's get on this ride. I think I remember it being kind of boring. And a little bit slower than I wanted it to be. Okay, I have now been splashed. Oh, but I see people lining up. Coming on down. Maybe they're headed for the restaurant because this ride is not open yet. Well, that was a very short ride. Let's get out of this. Okay, I think I'm done with the testing. How do I tell it to stop testing now? Okay. I'm forgetting something important here. Maybe it's just not done testing and I'm just being too impatient. Okay, but darn it. Yes, okay, just go through your very long intensive testing of something that's really, really boring. Okay, well at least we're getting some customers for our restaurant. I'm just going to ignore that testing while it goes on behind my back because apparently something is actually happening over here. Alrighty, profits today, negative $59.44 though. Ooh, boy, that's not going too well yet. But there are no dirty tables. Maybe I need to assign, like, some janitorial staff. Let's see, wait, how do I get into that? There we go. I need to get out of that so I can get into something else. Staff, let's assign you a senatorial janitation worker. Don't need a vendor. Okay, there we go. Janitor. Oh, okay. I don't know why I always get startled by the fact that another one pops up immediately when I get over there. Are you done testing yet? How do I speed this whole thing up? Okay, I just have to hit stop test, apparently. Okay, well, I guess that's enough of that. I'm bored with it. Why is it still untested? What's going on here? Okay, well, I'll just leave you to test to your heart's content. Just go on with that. And I'm gonna look around a little bit and maybe see if we can figure out a slightly better way to do the restaurants, because that's just such a huge space suck right over here, and it's not really quite working out for us. Although I can put a little bit more scenery in the general area while we're waiting for all of this testing that apparently needs to happen. I did make the ride slightly longer, but I didn't realize that I made it that long and intensive of a testing thing. Can you show me something at least from the test? Why am I not seeing any feedback here? I feel as though I am failing somehow with this test. Yeah, you keep telling me that I need to test it. I've been doing that off and on quite a bit here. How's the maintenance going? Alrighty, anyway, we were gonna do some scenery here. Let's see what we can do. Let's go with something pre-established. Let's see if we can get some themes going. We're gonna go with the resort, and I believe there was also, well, I guess aquatic is the only other one that really fits. Maybe nature? Okay, let me actually look through it now, please. Alrighty. Aquatic dressing. Oh yeah, I just don't quite get this theme. There's bound to be something nice from it. It's really hard to see though. Yeah, I just don't really want all the mechanical type stuff. It looks like some sort of weird above ground submarine something. So let's just get out of that theme, although from what I remember, one of our previous little shop shelves was actually technically aquatic themed, and it was the same general, let's see if I can get over there. It was, well, it was this kind of a look, so I shouldn't entirely give up on aquatic theme, but I think that for scenery, we are going to give up on it a little bit. Let's get back in here. Yeah, I guess we're waiting a long time. That's about all I saw with that. Yeah, I'm busy. I'm going to ignore you for just a little while. I'll figure out something to do with that later on. Okay. Anyway, I was trying to do some... Okay, Monsoon Chute 2 has finished testing and can be opened. Finally! So nice. So let's finally stop it. Alright. 3.98 excitement, 3.88 fear, and 3.7 nausea. And I honestly don't understand why they need nausea, but apparently they do. So, yay for that. Okay, now can I please open it? Here we go. So we got something happening. Let's put in a little bit of scenery here, just a tiny touch. What do you look like? Well, you might actually kind of work for something or another. But let's zoom this around and see if we can figure out what it actually looks like. It looks kind of boring front to back. Let's see if we got anything a little bit better, or a little bit more resorty. Don't think we need to go quite as Flintstone-y, although it does kind of work with all the other boulders around here, but I don't know if that's really quite what we're going for. Ooh, that's too big. Okay. Anyway, we still want some scenery, and I don't want to have to go just all out trying to make it work with everything else. This does kind of actually work with the restaurant. You know, it's taking up a whole lot of space, but I might be able to talk myself into it here. If I can actually fit it in. Let's see. Let me get away from this palm tree. So much for that idea. Let's spin around a little bit. Maybe we can get it to work in here. That kind of almost sort of works. I can't tell how much I'm stepping on that cue. Let's see. I might kind of see if I can shrink this down or sink it down or something it down. Yeah, let's give this a shot. It does at least kind of fit in with the theme. Oh yeah, I should probably check and see how much money I'm wasting here. Well, but first we're gonna just occupy ourselves with making sure that this is as well aligned as it can be. Ooh, it's more sunken into the ground than I realized. So maybe I shouldn't try to do anything more with that. But it still kind of makes sense. Let's take a little bit closer of a look. I might actually have to raise this up and push this back. I think the main thing that I was worried about was this cue, and that, ooh, that is getting awfully close. Come on. Let me see what... cooperate with me, camera. Alrighty, we are kind of undercutting that cue a little bit too much. I'm thinking maybe I should just move all this over or move the queue around, because the queue is not getting super full. Let me make sure that this is actually open and doing its thing. This stupid palm tree, it won't let me go. Get out of my way. Can I please do anything? Thank you. Good grief. Okay, well, anyway, I was thinking about adjusting some paths here a little bit, and I think I'm going to pause while I do that. Let's see. Come on, Lee. Oh, Earth. Yowza. Or whatever. Okay, now I can adjust this path, or I can adjust this queue, or I can do a combination of both, and I'm kind of tempted to do a combination of both, but let's start by trying to adjust the, this queue. Why am I suddenly brain farting as to how I actually do that? I think we get over here to the paths, and then we get a little bit of, yeah, there's some destruction that can be done here. This is all getting a little bit too close for comfort. Boy, I sure do wish that I had better control of this camera. But I keep saying that same thing. Ooh, and I didn't mean to click out of that. Let's get right back where we were and try to delete just a touch more, especially down here. Alrighty, now let's try to... Ooh, it's not always easy to resume what you were doing. Let's see if I can do that. And I don't think it... Ooh. Darn it, I did figure out how to make this work. Let's see if we can just sort of pre-customize it. Can't remember if I went with horizontal or vertical, because, you know, it's basically just diagonal. And, that was stuck kind of funny. Let's see. We want to be rid of these railings. And we want it to not be clicked onto something here. Good grief. Paths. Okay. No, I don't want to make a path. I want to make a queue. And I want it to not in any way have railings. Yeah, I'm not trying to cross a path. I'm trying to customize a path. So let me do that. Oh, why? Why? Just why? Why did you decide that you were going to start off a path? I don't want to do that. I just want to customize this path, which you're not letting me do. You little bugbear. Alrighty, well, make protest. Maybe I can figure out how to get rid of this railing now that I've already got that, and now I see that I picked the wrong one. Let's see, maybe I can just... Okay, let's try this. Let's copy an existing texture. Okay, that looks like what I need, so let's delete what we just added, because it's definitely not the right thing. Let's try this whole puppy again, and let's actually leave a little bit more space between this path and the restaurant. And this seems to be going well so far. I can't tell yet, though. Okay. And we were just gonna maybe do a little bit of this, and then a little bit more of this, and just hope. Okay, hope fulfilled, I guess. Woo! That was a little bit more trouble than it should have been. But I think I'm still going to move this path around because, well, either I'm going to move the path around, or I'm going to change the terrain around, or a little bit of a column A, column B. But yeah, okay. Well, we're making progress, and I'm tired of listening to that little clattery noise that it keeps making. So let's get out of this. Okay, let's just... Am I selecting what I want to select here? I want to select the whole thing. No, you're not letting me select the whole thing. I don't want to... I remember this being a problem before. I don't want just the tiny little bits. I want the entire building. And I remember that being a far greater ask than it should be. Let's not. Let's see if I can get as above it as possible. And try to select just this little bit. Okay, I mean, if I accidentally select a little bit of path, I can undo that. I can't remember for sure how to do it. I think, okay, yeah, I'm holding down left control, and that's doing what I want it to. Ah! That was not doing what I wanted it to. Oh well, I'll just have to live with getting rid of a path. Maybe. Let's see. Okay, let's try again. Good thing that I get stubborn when I'm playing a game. Alrighty. Yeah, I'm resigned to having that one piece of path probably selected. I'm going to try to change things around just a little bit. Let's see if we can... Ooh, we might be able to do it. We might be able to just control that one. Okay. Goodness. I sure hope that I can do whatever on earth I want to do here. Let's... I've completely forgotten now what I was trying to do. Goodness. Alrighty, well, one thing I want to do, I want to move this back a little bit, and I think I need to move it up a little bit, but not too much, because I do plan to just redo that terrain a little bit. But here is step one, which is moving it back a little bit, and I may or may not need to elevate it. That queue is awfully high compared to this, so maybe I should elevate it and just elevate the terrain as well. We can always redo that path if needed, but I do kind of like the idea of everything being all on one level here, and if we have to have a staircase, then I can live with that. But let's see. I might want to scooch all this over to my left and make that path make a little bit more sense when we do that. Alright, we can move the terrain up, and we can put in a little bit of shallow stairs if we need to. Or we can just raise all of this terrain a little bit. And maybe cover up some of those boulders. Because I don't really get any joy out of these boulders. They're not really doing anything for me. So yeah, let's kind of plan on that. We'll just raise this up and raise this path as well. And maybe we can fit something over here that is of interest. I kind of like that idea. But let's see, Alrighty, well, first things first, we're gonna raise this up just a touch more even. But I don't want to have to raise up that restaurant, so let's make sure that we're not gonna have to do that. Yeah, if I'm not careful, we are gonna have to do that, so I'm actually gonna lower this back down a little bit. And I will try to smooth all that terrain out just a little bit more reasonably. That seems about on the level with the restaurant. So, I think we might be able to be done here. And I think I actually will move it just a little bit more to the right, because we do want to just basically line it up with this archway, which appears to be what's happening. Or maybe that's not an archway, just that entryway, I should probably say. Okay, I think I'm going to call that done. And now I think I'm going to just destroy some paths and do some terrain work. Let's go ahead and just get into the terrain just a little bit. I'm not looking to delete anything. I'm kind of looking to get out of whatever I'm in here. Okay, now where was that terrain thing again? Okay, here we go. Terrain. Now, actually, I should probably destroy some paths first, and I will hit pause before I do that. Okay, not in terrain. We're going to destroy some paths. But I think I kind of want to leave the queue as is. Ooh, I hate having to mess with this. But I think we're going to have to mess with this. So, let's make the brush a little bit bigger here. And hopefully get at the correct angle for some of this. Wait, didn't I hit pause? I did. I thought I did, but apparently it didn't take. Okay, anyway, let's get out of this just a little touch. I think I'm going to leave this as is, and then over here we're going to just sort of start sloping up a little bit. Yeah, we're going to just have to get rid of all of you, and we're going to have to get rid of this little path as well. And it's really hard to see sometimes. But we need to get rid of that, and now we need to just do a little bit of generic terrain raising. which I think we can get away with. This poor little guy right here, or girl, or whoever this is, she might be in a little bit of trouble here for a few minutes, but hopefully she will be able to readjust herself as needed. And actually, I do kind of need to tear down just a little bit of the queue. But anyway, let's get into this terrain thing and try to remember what on earth we do and how we do it and all them other things. We are going to make this a slightly big brush. Don't want to be too intense with it though. Let's tone that down a little bit. Going just a touch here and there, and hither and thither, and we're going to bury that woman up to her waist, or maybe a little bit higher. But let's get over here and see how much we can just cover up with these boulders, because if you won't let me edit them, then too bad. They're going to have to go away. We're going to see what we can fit around here once we do that, because we might be able to fit all sorts of interesting things. We're going to go up just a little bit more. I would like to cover that little half-hidden boulder. Let's see what's going on over here. We might need to get rid of just a little bit more path here as well. Yeah, let's do some of that. Let's just bury some of the path. You know what? I shouldn't have done that. I'm going to go back down a little bit. I'm going to get rid of the path first. Let's see. Yeah, let's get rid of this path. And get a brain back. Wish me luck with that. Alright, let's see. Now, a little bit more terrain play over here. And hopefully we can make whatever sense out of this we need to. And I do need to remember that I don't want to accidentally bury this guy right here. Although if I need to, I can just raise it up. And that might actually be my best bet. You know what? Yeah, I'm going to raise the terrain behind it a little bit. And then we're going to raise this little guy up. Okay, let me select, yeah. And see, look at that. I got to select the whole thing as far as I can tell. Let's just double check and make sure that it actually is selecting everything. It looks fully selected. Let's select this little palm tree. Oh, well, apparently that was an either or kind of a thing. So let's select nothing. And then we're going to try to select all of this, and then we're going to deselect the path, of course. Alrighty, now it looks like I can raise all of this up. Let's find out. Okay, ooh, that was a little bit too much of a raising. Yeah, see, that looks kind of reasonable. I don't think any of you is floating unnaturally. So we'll go with that. And now we're going to try to get this whole path thing to work out again. Okay, so we need to get into the queue. And I feel like this is extended off the screen somehow, because shouldn't there be an X over there? But maybe not. Yeah, anyway, we were going into the paths, and we're going to try for, I believe this is an 8-wide path. And you know what, while I'm here, I'm going to go ahead and copy this texture just to make sure that we're doing the right thing. Okay, yeah, you definitely need to be more than 4 wide. Let's see if that appears to be correct. Okay, let's get on over here, and we're going to go kind of close to this, because hopefully we can put something interesting back here. Oh, that's not going to happen this episode. That's going to happen sometime a little bit later. Ooh, no, that's not what I meant to do. Alrighty, we do want to get close to this, and we can get a little bit closer than we had before, because I can just sort of redesign that whole queue experience there. Let's see. This is looking reasonable so far. And I think I'm gonna tail off the path a little bit sooner than I need to, because I will be extending it later on, but I just don't know how or where or in what way. But, all right, I'm going to readjust this a little bit, and so far this path is looking kind of smooth. Doesn't really look like it's floating too much anywhere. I mean, it is eating into various things, and it's lower down than I meant it to be, so... You know what, I think I'm going to raise up the terrain here just a little bit more, before we finalize that path. So we definitely need to go up a little bit here. Maybe a little bit more than I have been. a little bit more intensity. And y'all, South Park has slightly warped my brain. You know, ever since I heard authority, everything becomes something ending with ta wherever possible. So we have intensity, and this poor little woman is just getting deeper and deeper. It must be kind of like quicksand here. Alrighty, and I hope that I can make this make a little bit of sense over here. Let's get into a smaller sized thing. Maybe not 10, but, you know, just, ooh, I can barely see back there. Let's see if I can get at a slightly better angle, because I do want to raise this path up a little bit. Maybe I need to be in like smooth or something like that, but I think I'd rather just go tiny little bit of incremental something, words that make sense. Alrighty, yeah, we might need to do some smoothing, but it's possible that the path that I lay down will do some of that for me. Yeah, we do need a little bit of smoothing. But on the other hand, I don't want to have to make them climb too hard. Let's actually raise this up a little bit more here, and here, and here. 'Cause I would like all of this to be actually sunk into the ground. I'd kind of like that palm tree to be a little higher up, but I'm definitely not going to fuss too hard over that. Alrighty, I believe that there is a smoothing thing, so let's see what happens with that. I think I've used this with very limited success before. Something might be happening here. I can't quite tell. Maybe it's just not happening intensely enough. Yeah, I mean, I can see some change going on. I just can't quite tell if it's doing what I had in mind, but yeah, maybe it is. Sorta, kinda, a little bit. Alright, let's keep on going with this. Just a little more. Ooh. Well, it is nice to have such a close-up view. Alrighty, but anyway, we were going to try to fix the paths just a little bit more. Oh yeah, I'd forgotten that I had gotten rid of so much path there. That poor little woman, she's almost up to her neck, isn't she? Oh no, she's still up to her midriff, I guess. Let me see if I can get a little bit closer. See, oh, come on, I want to see what I'm doing to you, woman. Ah, the camera is just so very non-cooperative. Just cannot quite get there. Yeah, I can get a good view of her umbrella. Alrighty, oh, that poor thing. Well, hopefully she'll just float up to the surface as soon as I unpause it. And as soon as I finish the path underneath her, or that should be underneath her. Alright, lady, I hope you like asphalt and tile and concrete and all them things, because it's going to be awfully close to your face. Alright, let's see if we can spin around just a little bit more and get not stuck in a tree. How did I have this tentatively planned? Basically, we're going to try to straighten it out and go past this. Oh, I need to... Yeah, there we go. I wanted to actually hook you up. Alright, and I think that I'm going to kind of end it right here. And anyway, and now we're going to do a somewhat smaller... Oh yeah, and I tried to make this sort of like a rounded connection. I could never figure out how to make that happen, so we're not going to try too hard this time. Let's see what size connection they like here. It would appear to be a 4, so we're going to go with that. And let's see what this looks like as a straight line. Yeah, I didn't quite center this little scenery thing quite as well as I needed to, but that is definitely going to have to work for now. So yeah, let's make it a curve, and it's going to be almost impossible to tell the difference between this. Why do you do that? Why did you curve over there and not over here? Why? Just why? And how do I fix it? You drive me nuts sometimes. I don't get it, game. I really don't get it. How do I fix that? Erg. Camera will follow. Camera moves freely. Camera will follow and rotate. I never really see anything happening differently when I mess around with that. And now, how deep is this poor little woman? let's see. Okay, well, she actually seems to have floated up a little bit. And I'm getting a better view of her now. You got a very interesting belt there, lady. Okay, now I'm not sure why this is... okay, the terrain needs a little bit of help there, especially since it's just entirely missing a triangle. So let's see if we can just ever so slightly fix that. Maybe we can smooth it out. Does that work? Nope, that doesn't work. And if I just can't get that little bit of terrain back, I will just have to hide it with some scenery, I guess. Let's see what happens. Nope, it's there to stay. Ooh, okay, we finally got rid of it. But I don't think that that's the answer for us. Didn't want to go up that high anyway. Okay, we're just gonna have to resign ourselves to missing a triangle of ground there. Ooh, actually, that's a little bit too high, isn't it? So we're gonna actually push that down just a little bit. Over here. Of course, that's just changing what the triangle looks like. Wonder what all we can see under there. I see London, I see France, or something. Okay, anyway, we got one more little bit to do here. A little bit of queue fixins. And we can't just sort of tail this off. I really don't know how big of a deal we need to make over this queue. And I don't like the way that this curve turned out here either, but... Okay, you know what? Are we? Yeah, we are still paused, so I'm going to do just a little bit more queue work here. And I am just going to delete a large portion of this. I'm going to leave it up, or leave enough so that we can copy the style. Nope. Didn't mean to select those last two. They just kind of happened. And then I couldn't unselect them on the fly. Alrighty, anyway, that kind of worked. Alright, let's make sure that we got the right thing here. You look proper. And we do want you to be curved here. And I've completely forgotten how I had it going, so we're just... Ooh, okay, yeah, I don't like the camera will follow and rotate, so let's not do that. Camera will follow? I don't know if I trust you. Yeah, I think camera moves freely is where I need to be. Stop driving me nuts, camera. I really don't like it when you do that. Do any of the things that you're doing, basically. Just stop it. Stop giving me grief. Alrighty, hey, let's see, what do I want I'm trying to make it a little bit less curvy, and I remember there being something for that. I've lost it though. Fixed length, ankle snap. Maybe let's try that. Yeah, that kind of helps. Maybe that's gonna help. Maybe I'll sort of turn it off and on a little bit. I am completely lost in the sauce here, y'all. I gotta admit, my brain has gotten away from me here. Alright. Well, we'll put the path right underneath it again, dude. How's that sound? This actually kind of works. I can put some sort of scenery squeezed in hither, thither, and yon. Presumably. That didn't really link up the way I wanted it to, though. Let's see. Maybe if I start from here and go to here, that'll look a little bit... No, that's going to be just as funky. Oh, well. I give up. We have made progress. So we're going to have to wrap it up here on a little bit of a win. But if y'all have enjoyed this little vacation to our coastal park, please do let me know by leaving a like on the video. And if you want to make sure that we keep coming back, please subscribe so that you don't miss anything. I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye. Ooh, I think I got that around the wrong way.